On the 19th of August, we spoke about PC Paul Fisher, a Metropolitan Police Firearms Command officer who was charged with dangerous driving following an investigation by the Independent Office for Police Conduct. Fisher was at the time on his way to a suspected terror incident that the Metropolitan Police allowed to take place when Sudesh Amman, even though he was being followed by two covert armed police due to his terrorism risk, went on to stab several people on Streatham High Road in London in 2020. Now, I mention that because two armed police were already on the scene before and during the attack, being committed by one person. In my estimation, two armed with guns against one armed with a knife is pretty much all you should need to contain the situation and put the attacker down. But of course, this is the police, and any chance that they can get to add a bit of excitement to their shift, other than doing the conga with the alphabetti spaghetti lot, is always a welcome shout, especially if violence is involved. Now, I'm not suggesting he shouldn't have attended. It was, after all, an armed incident, but my point is there was police on the scene with guns already. The initial response was met by those two. Therefore, in my opinion, although police can and should still respond to a deadly incident with haste, they should still be able to observe their own limits in their driving. But unfortunately, PC Paul Fisher seems to have overrated his ability to drive at speed and ended up crashing his vehicle, hitting several other cars and stopping only when the wall he tried to plough through put up a bit too much resistance. Now, people had a moan at me over that last report in the comments about him getting to a terror incident quickly, and what do I expect them to do? Well, I expect them not to put any other lives in danger when responding to any incident. That's exactly what I expect of them, especially when police were already on the scene. But I guess some people need to actually have police run over their child, sibling or parents before they get through their fucking thick skulls that police still have responsibilities when they're driving at speed. The simple fact of the matter is this cop has been charged with dangerous driving, not driving without due care, which is driving that falls below the minimum standard expected of a careful driver. But dangerous driving, which included driving that could potentially endanger yourself or others, that's a big difference. And there must have been enough evidence to charge him. So that would indicate that he is, at the moment, likely to have been driving dangerously. In fact, Fisher was hitting speeds of 90 miles an hour through the streets of South London. A task that's hard to achieve even in the lightest traffic conditions. Fisher appeared at Westminster Magistrates Court on Monday for the first time to face his charges. The court was told that Fisher drove of speeds up to 90 miles an hour, drove towards oncoming traffic on the wrong side of the road and narrowly missed a number of other vehicles before eventually his luck ran out. He collided with two vehicles in quick succession before ploughing into a residential property, narrowly missing a pedestrian. It's also said that the drivers of the other two vehicles Fisher collided with lost consciousness after the collision, but I can't obviously say whether that's true or not. I mean, he would have had to have hit them pretty much square on, I would imagine, in order to create that amount of force. But it doesn't seem that that's the case. Prosecutor Alejandra Tascon said the Crown say the combination of high speeds and failure to anticipate the road and road users ahead, after already having had a number of near misses, fell well below the standards of a reasonably competent and careful driver. Fisher indicated a not guilty plea to the charge and asked for his trial to take place before a judge and jury. Obviously hoping that he gets some people on the jury who he can pluck at their heartstrings with the terror excuse to mitigate his driving standards, even though, as I said, there were more than enough police on the scene at the time with guns in order to eliminate the threat. Chief Magistrate Paul Goldspring adjourned the case for a hearing at Alworth Crown Court on September the 19th. Now, I know some people will come at me now with he had a fake suicide vest on. Well, from what I can tell, they didn't know that at first and only found that out after he started attacking people. And likely only after they had shot him. So at that time, they didn't even have that intelligence. So that argument is irrelevant. Thanks. But if you do have anything sensible to say, then please do leave it in the comments. We will pick up on this when it gets to Crown Court, but knowing the state of the country today, I think I can call the outcome before the trial even begins.